In Foxborough, this is not just about who might be coming in or who could be on the way out. This is about what the Patriots are telling us about their priorities. When the wide receiver market starts heating up, a future move pops onto the radar. The defense starts eyeing hidden value, and the draft puts a massive decision on the table. All of it points to the same thing. What is the real plan to speed up Drake Maye's development and make this team tougher right now? If you're into this kind of breakdown, hit the like button and come with me. There is history here, and that is exactly why this feels bigger. A.J. Brown is not just an elite wide receiver suddenly tied to New England. There is real emotion behind it. He grew up a Patriots fan. He lived through that 2019 draft night waiting to hear the call from Foxborough, and instead, he watched the team go in a different direction. Time passed, he became a Pro Bowler, won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, and built a big-time career. But now the situation has shifted in a way that brings that old connection roaring back. Nick Foles said Brown wants out, and that from what he has gathered, there are specific places Brown would want to land. When New England gets mentioned, it does not feel random. It makes sense because of Brown's history with the team. It makes sense because of his relationship with Mike Vrabel. And it makes sense because the Patriots need a player who can walk into this offense and instantly change the whole conversation. This is not some luxury move. This is a real need. The Patriots' receiver room still does not give you that feeling of security if you believe Drake Maye's development is the top priority. Romeo Doubs is here, fine. But A.J. Brown is a different level of presence, physicality, defensive attention, and respect before the snap even happens. Even in a messy 2025 season in Philly, surrounded by tension, public frustration, and an environment that clearly wore him down, he still produced like a star. To me, that matters a lot. Because when the situation is broken and the guy still delivers, that tells you exactly how real the talent is. And there is another layer here that hits home for the fan base. Vrabel has never hidden how much he respects Brown going back to their Titans days. This year he spoke with real pride about Brown's growth, the man he has become, the father he is, the person he has turned into. That does not complete the trade by itself, obviously, but it tells you the bridge is there, and in the NFL, the right bridge at the right time can change everything. Now here comes the part that makes this even more intense. According to Greg Bedard, the Patriots have already offered something around a second-round pick. Philadelphia wants a lot more. A first, a second, and a player. That is a big gap. But the clock matters too. Before June 1, moving Brown hits the Eagles with a brutal dead cap number. After June 1, that hit drops hard. And when the whole league knows that, the leverage of the team asking for everything starts to weaken. That is why this rumor does not feel like fan fiction. It feels tense, expensive, difficult, but possible. And honestly, if New England believes there is a real window to put A.J. Brown next to Drake Maye, I do not want to see this front office sitting back and watching. There are moments when a franchise has to stop looking for the polite answer and go attack the problem. Some stories blow up immediately. Others creep into your head and stay there. This Zay Flowers situation in Baltimore is exactly that kind of story. It is not a full-blown drama yet. It has not turned into a public split. It has not reached the point where people are calling the ending. But the Patriots would be foolish not to track every step of this like they are watching a door that might open later. Flowers has already become too important to the Ravens' offense to be treated like some side topic. The issue is simple. Great players get expensive, and the wide receiver market keeps climbing like crazy. When Jackson Smith-Njigba lands a massive deal and resets that market, it does not stay isolated. That shakes other negotiations too. It changes expectations, strengthens the player's side, and puts pressure on the team. That is exactly why New England needs to pay attention, because any turbulence between Baltimore and Flowers matters to the Patriots. There is also an emotional layer here that makes it hit even harder for this fan base. Zay Flowers would not just be another talented name maybe available down the road. He is a Boston College guy. He is someone a lot of Patriots fans wanted in 2023, back when there was that feeling Belichick might trade back into the end of the first round for him. So this is not only about fit on the field, it is about a player who connects to the region, to the fan base, and to the idea of bringing someone to Foxborough who would feel like an instant hometown favorite. Sure, this could still end with an extension, and that is the end of it. Flowers has said he wants to stay in Baltimore, and nobody should be shocked by that. Almost every player says that when there is still a path to a deal. But the NFL has shown us over and over that good feelings do not sign contracts. If talks stall, if the money gets uncomfortable, if the long-term vision changes, what looks stable today can turn into a real standoff tomorrow. And if that standoff grows, the Patriots need to be one of the first teams ready to strike. Because Flowers is not just good. He has already posted back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He has already earned league-wide respect. He has already shown he can be a real answer in big moments. For Drake Maye, that would mean quick separation, burst, juice, and an instant connection with the fan base from the very first Sunday. I am not saying this is about to fall into New England's lap. I am saying serious franchises do not wait for the market to scream before they start moving. While a lot of people look at the top of the draft and think only about instant impact, there is another side of roster building that should never be overlooked. The player who comes in without a ton of hype, lands in the right system, and starts rising fast. That is where Trey Moore starts to get really interesting for New England. Not because anyone is calling him a magic fix, but because his profile matches a real need on this defense, and the kind of swing that can pay off way bigger than the cost. The Patriots need pressure. They need aggression. They need more players who can wreck the pocket without relying on the perfect play call every single time. That has already felt urgent, and the interest in Moore points straight at that need. Tony Pauline reported that New England really likes the linebacker, and the most interesting part is not just the interest itself, it is the comparison floating around him. Once you hear people talk about traits similar to Arvell Reese, your ears perk up, because now the conversation changes. Reese is viewed as elite talent. Top-of-the-board type of guy, explosive athlete, modern defender, the kind of player who can move in space and still come downhill and blow things up as a blitzer. If Moore gives you a meaningful piece of that package in a much more affordable draft range, then now you are talking about value. And for a team that cannot afford to waste picks, value matters a ton. His college production helps back that up. Between UTSA and Texas, especially in 2023 and 2024, he stacked tackles for loss, sacks, fumble recoveries, and splash plays that show instinct and timing. In 2025, the volume dropped, that is true, and that naturally creates debate. But sometimes one quieter season does not erase what a player showed on film before that. Sometimes it just pushes him into a range where a well-prepared franchise can steal hidden value. And that is where I look at Vrabel and this coaching staff with a little more trust. If there is an environment that can develop a hybrid defender who is physical, mobile, and useful as a pressure piece, it is this one. Moore would not have to walk in carrying the pressure of being the savior on day one. He could rotate in, learn, attack specific situations, and grow inside a structure that knows how to bring the best out of that kind of player. That is why Trey Moore feels like the kind of name Patriots fans need to remember. Maybe he does not show up with a giant national headline. Maybe he is not the loudest topic of the weekend. But he feels like the kind of pick that looks even better once the dust settles and the team starts showing on the field what it really saw in him. This last story hits a point that splits any honest Patriots fan because it goes straight at the question that is going to hang over this entire draft. What helps Drake Maye more right now? A tackle who protects the whole structure of the offense, or a receiver who changes the way defenses cover you from month one? And when the conversation gets to that point, you cannot answer it on emotion alone. You have to look at the real wound on this team. The offensive line got hit way too hard. New England gave up 47 sacks in the regular season and another 21 in the playoffs. In the Super Bowl, it was 6 sacks and 3 turnovers, a brutal picture of how an entire season can collapse when protection breaks down at the worst possible moment. So when a projection links Max Ehanaker to the Patriots at 31, nobody should act like that is some boring, low-ceiling idea. There is real logic there. Morgan Moses is already 35. Will Campbell dealt with an injury issue in 2025, and the depth on that line still needs serious help. At the same time, it would be naive to pretend the hole at wide receiver is not a real concern. Stephon Diggs is gone. Romeo Doubs is here. But the offense is still searching for a target who commands real respect. Brad Gagnon threw out the idea that the Patriots should prioritize Denzel Boston instead of a tackle, and I get why that is appealing. If Boston really is that kind of plug-and-play player, the temptation is obvious. Drake Maye needs help. He needs clean route wins, separation, and a real threat outside. He needs somebody who makes a defense pay for every little hesitation. But this is where the passionate fan also has to be honest. What is the point of chasing the flash if your quarterback is still getting hit too early and too often? What is the point of dreaming about a more explosive passing game if the pocket still feels shaky in the biggest moments? The Patriots already learned the hard way that an offense does not really grow when protection is breaking down in the middle of the story. That memory cannot just sit there as an uncomfortable detail. It has to drive the decision. That does not mean you give up on adding a weapon. It means you understand the order of urgency. If Ian Aker or another one of the top tackles is sitting there at 31, then to me that name has to come first. After that, go look for a receiver. Move up later if you have to. Hunt for value another way. But passing on premium protection just to chase the more exciting answer would be playing with a risk New England already knows way too well. And this is exactly where I want to hear Patriots Nation loud and clear. At 31, are you protecting Drake Maye first, or are you going all in on a wide receiver to change the entire look of this offense right away? At the end of the day, this whole package says one thing loud and clear. New England is in a stretch now where half measures are not going to calm anybody down. If there is a real chance to land a major target, the team has to read it with courage. If another star opens up later, they need to be ready. If the draft offers hidden value on defense, they need to take it. And if pick 31 is going to shape the rhythm of this offense in 2026, then that choice has to be made with clear vision and cold-blooded franchise thinking. Foxborough is at a point where one good decision can change the mood, change the expectations, and change the season. If you live this the way we do, subscribe to the channel and stick with us.